Whoa, it's the Sale Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to a completely unnecessary podcast for Tuesday, March 26th, springtime, flowers, 2019.
Pat's in a place this morning.
That's Ian Ferguson.
I'm right here.
I'm Pat Contry. Boy, do we have a podcast for you
We
this
sure
week.
do.
Ian, what are we talking about?
Oh, we're going to talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about perhaps 2 different Switch models coming this year, Apple Arcade, an all-digital Xbox One console, GameStop news.
Zack Snyder making it back into the podcast.
Oh, yeah, Zack Snyder's made it back in, and we'll do a little Q&A here. We've got a Patreon poll and a scumbag seller.
Yeah, of the week.
Week.
Do you like springtime, Ian?
I do. It's nice.
Love is in the air. Do some cleaning. What else is associated
I
with
prefer fall.
yes, fall is the best, but not in San Diego. There's no fall here.
Right, but
back east.
A good fall lets you know that it's time to sit down for the winter.
I'm going to plant an oak tree up front just so I can get leaves.
There you go.
Fall. I'm going to do that.
But
Wait 80 years.
Spring is nice, except for like when spring wants me to be more active than I want to be.
when the season tells you directly,
Yeah.
hey, be more active.
Be more active.
Get out of the house. Go to the zoo.
I do go to the zoo a lot.
Why don't we go to the zoo together, Ian?
I don't know. We don't do a lot of
We
things
can hold
together.
hands. We can watch the
hold
leopards.
hands.
we don't hang
It really
out.
depends on how into the Tasmanian devils you are.
I like the Tasmanian devils. I'm kind of annoyed at the fact that they don't have those little fat guys from Australia. Don't have anymore.
Wombats.
They don't have the wombats anymore.
I know.
They moved them. What happened
I
to the
don't
wombats?
see any wombats. Hey, sometimes they come and go. These
The
animals,
wombats are great.
These animals aren't prisoners.
I like the capybaras. I like the wombats. I like these guys that are smart and round and rotund. That's my creature I like.
Did you hear that? Unfortunately, the pandas are going to be sent back to China in April.
No, I did not hear that. They've been here forever.
They have
On
been,
loan?
but they were talking. I remember once about a year ago, they started talking about how they are on loan from China, and at some point, depending, they have to keep like renegotiating it every year.
And breeding and stuff. We bred them here. There's a baby once.
And
a few years old.
From what I heard, while zoology and this sort of like this field, politics don't get into it very much. I
Sure.
think I've heard that politics may be having
Really?
a slight. Yeah,
We went after that female business mogul. We're going after her. Maybe they're pissed about that still.
I don't know. Tariffs.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Tariffs are going to affect my zoo. Tariffs are so fucking dumb. Now they're going to affect my zoo.
So that's what I heard. I mean, on the other hand, at
Son of
some
a
point,
bitch.
these pandas probably had to go back.
They're
but
homesick.
I don't think the
Maybe they're
zoo was
homesick.
looking. I mean, the zoos had really good success with the pandas.
Yes, they've bred them.
Too. So
I get really annoyed in it's usually when I meet a new potential lady friend and I bring up how much I love the zoo. This is how I know it's not going to go well. When they say, "Oh, they just keep them in cages," I'm like, "Are you fucking stupid? Do you know what the zoo actually does? The zoo keeps species alive."
See, the thing is like, okay, so that sort of
Knee-jerk reaction.
that mindset. If you go to a place like the
insane.
Buffalo Zoo, now maybe the Buffalo Zoo has improved, but I doubt it.
Okay.
But if you go to a place like the Buffalo Zoo or some fucking rinky-dink zoo in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, sure,
Des Moines Zoo.
those can get pretty fucking depressing. But the San Diego Zoo,
The San Diego Zoo is a nonprofit that is one of the biggest, best zoos in the world.
it's often it's always in the top 3 zoos in the world.
They literally brought species back from extinction. There was like 5 California condors left in like the late 80s.
Yeah.
There was like a family of them left. Now they're back in the wild. Without the zoo doing these conservation and people giving a shitload of money. Like they run on not just people going to the zoo, but they run on donations.
Yeah.
And people. So
Conrad Previs.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That man has donated a lot of money, Mr.
Yes.
Conrad
So it's
Previs.
like, yeah, okay, yeah. These animals. First of all, the penguins don't know where they are. They're having a great old
penguins,
time.
yeah, they don't
They have
give
a
a
huge
shit.
area to swim, hang out. They're not gonna get eaten by any seals or anything.
Walruses.
Or walruses. They're fine. So don't worry about them. They're okay.
Yeah.
Worry about the animals. If you're concerned that zoos are bad, or what do you care about the animals getting hacked and killed in Africa? Like, do you care about that? Because this is helping to counter that.
yeah.
Making sure that the northern white rhino still exists because
They're
we're down to like 2 of them. Okay,
2, and we don't have a male and a female.
we're down to 2 of them.
We're trying to pull some genetics.
We're trying
stuff.
to do some like Jurassic Park stuff to literally save a species right now. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
And
But
I'm going to bring up the Tasmanian Devils again.
Okay.
In
Are
the
they in
past,
trouble too?
In the past, like 15, 20 years, a highly contagious form of facial cancer is killing the Tasmanian Devils because it's wildly contagious in Australia. But you know what? Tasmanian Devils are happy. I can tell you which Tasmanian Devils are
Which
happy
ones,
right
Ian?
now. McLovin. McLovin's happy. That's his
San
name.
Diego Zoo.
McLovin is happy at the San Diego Zoo.
I didn't know it was McLovin.
One of them's name is McLovin. I don't know the other one's name.
Yeah. All I know is that you don't want me to become a billionaire. Because I'll just hire mercenary groups to hunt down poachers and kill them in Africa.
Well, if I
will go on record and say that right now.
If I became a billionaire,
I will do that.
I'll do the other end. I mean, normally I would be the one doing the contract killing, I think, but no, if I become a billionaire, all of San Diego is going to be a fucking zoo.
You're just going to open it up?
Just going to be like, here's the money. Just
you expand them out. Buy downtown becomes a zoo.
Yeah, downtown becomes.
No, but that was actually a plot of a Go-Go 13 one.
Oh, really?
One was going to translate where a bunch of poachers just gunned down from helicopters. This probably has happened before, by the way. A lot of these stories in Go-Go 13 came from some real life thing. They gunned down the elephants with machine guns from helicopters, and they take the tusks because they're fucking pieces of shit animals.
Yes.
And so are the animals that think that tusks have magical abilities or shit in areas of the world that help this bullshit thrive. So they hired Go-Go 13. Kill these poachers, and it's a beautiful issue because he concocts this very detailed plan, luring them out and killing every single one of them.
Nice.
God, it was such a heartwarming tale.
That's one that I would really like.
If I adapted Go-Go 13, that's my other. If I'm a billionaire, there's going to be a whole series of Go-Go 13. It'll be on Netflix or Hulu because it'll be nice hour stories. That will be one of the adapted tales. That will be a heartwarming tale of this killer just did humanity a favor.
Another thing I would do if I was a billionaire is I would seed clouds with Skittles like those commercials.
I don't think that's possible, Ian.
Okay.
Would you plant soft serve ice cream in the earth so we can find it like it's oil? Would you also do that?
Yeah.
To make the world a better place?
Oh, so apparently in this intro we're supposed to be talking about the Polymega GDC.
Well, we don't have to, but people will probably think it's strange if we don't address, being that we brought up Polymega's little spat with Analog a week or so ago. But Polymega was at GDC. I know we can talk about. I want to talk about other things that happened in GDC, but Polymega showed off, I guess, a prototype of their console, and they showed off their Sega Saturn emulation,
right?
Which they touted. In the fall? But in the fall, there was some shenanigans that people thought was going on where they were showing gameplay from some other emulator, software emulator. So they showed off. I believe it was somewhat smooth gameplay for some games.
They loaded up Power Drift. That was the video that I think was the big one. I don't know if there was more videos. It's good. It means your product's doing what you said your product was going to do.
Well, it's running an emulator.
Yeah.
It's not hardware based.
No, it's still the same issue. It's still an emulator.
And from what I've seen, it's the existing Mendefen emulator that I think they had the person write it specifically for the Polymega.
Gotcha.
Which would make sense.
Yeah.
Tweak it to maybe take advantage of some of the hardware specs.
I understand emulators to a degree when it comes to disk-based systems. I do, but I don't know. I don't know how that's supposed to be a big gotcha.
It's not a gotcha.
When they told us that that's what it was going to be doing. I don't know.
It's a proof of concept of your console.
Sure.
Which is good. It's good for the tons of people that have ordered it.
Yes.
That this is closer to coming out. Absolutely. But they've also pushed it back now, I think, further, the release date, and they're going to take more pre-orders, I believe, in May. That was the news. Or they're going to take more pre-orders, ramp up again, and then it's going to come out, I believe, later in the year.
Right.
That's the plan. So, good, I guess. I don't know anything to add.
I mean, it's fine. I don't know if they were expecting pats on the back. You don't get praise for stuff that you said you were gonna do.
That you've taken money for already.
Yeah.
No, it's just like, okay, show us what you got that we already paid for.
Right.
Potentially, we've been following the project for a few years now. But I don't want this to fail because people have money into this,
and it will come out. To what degree?
I will say this: there is a need for a way to play disc games on an emulator easily.
Oh yes,
there is a way. There is a market for that, and so I'm totally down for that solution. If that's the only thing that came out, I would be thrilled.
See, that's the
modules is what I think the plot gets lost in the modules. That's where, to me, I'm like, I don't see the point, especially since there's so many other ways to play all these other consoles now, year after year.
That are going to do it in the same way. But
do it better if it's an FPGA.
Oh, yeah. Right, exactly. I think we did talk about this once before, because I said if it was just like a Saturn or just like a disc-based console emulator.
Well, that's the base. So that makes sense to me. So, like I said, I'd be down for that. Absolutely. Since there's not going to be probably a Sega Saturn FPGA in the future. Like, that's...
No.
You would hold that hope, but, you know.
But I hate to say that their attitude really has kind of turned me off.
Yeah, but that's a whole other issue. And again, that's a shame. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
we probably won't get our free review copy of this.
I'm not doing a good... oh, no. I'm not doing a good enough job here, but I guess the thing is you got to separate the product from the people. I think that...
The art from the artist.
Yes, I think the company and the way they've handled it is awful. I don't like the switch back to, emulation for the modules. The disc-based stuff, though, the disc-based stuff is pretty cool.
One other thing about the Polymega being showed off at GDC was that, according to this Nintendo Life article, a particular interest to Nintendo fans is that the included SNES emulator will come with expansion chip support for SA1, Super FX, CX4 with DSP1/2 and S/DD1 being implemented at the moment. So, as far as I know, these are all the chips, the add-on chips for stuff, like Star Fox and Doom. And I think Street Fighter Alpha has a chip in it, and then you have like Top Gear 3000 that's one that has the Jesus, I forget, that has the only game has one of the chips in it. But as far as I know, the emulators can play these games correctly.
Yes.
So what you're really saying is the emulator that we're using, that we got licensed, that exists already in the computer world onto our emulation box, is also doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Am I reading that right?
Yes.
What is the difference with this?
I have no idea.
I don't see what the advantage would be. Obviously, it's on your TV, but I mean, like, what they're not touting anything that doesn't, I think, exist.
I get what you're saying. Yes, the advantage is obviously okay. Great, on this console, I don't have to worry about certain games not playing, like certain older NOAC, clone consoles, but. I don't know. It seems to be...
Unless I'm missing an emulator that doesn't do some of this stuff already. But I think even like...
the Retron did all this just fine.
These are supported even on flash cards at this point. Just about every chip is supported
on the SD2
SNES.
Just about everything is supported.
Sure. So we're still in that same ballpark there. So, okay. So again, I hope this comes out. I hope it does well. And I hope people get their console. And I'll look into the disc system. I will.